Last week, Apple raised prices on MacBooks and iPads and many other devices. When that news broke, the first thing I thought was, man, I need a new MacBook. Mine is 5 years old, and the new OS won't support all the Apple Intelligence features natively on the original M1. So I need a new MacBook. I better go get one now. So I ran up to Micro Center. Now, this is not a Micro Center ad, but let me tell you, Micro Center rocks. I ran up to Micro Center. They have MacBooks in stock. They actually had discounted ones. I was very excited. I picked one out. I got there and it had already been bought out from under me. I was going to get a 64 gig M5 Max, which I was like, ooh, that's awesome. Nope, bought out from under me. Instead, I ended up picking a 48 gig M5 Pro, which is still a pretty solid machine. And Micro Center had it discounted $450 off list, which made it a pretty affordable machine too. I think it was $2,300. So I said, well, it's for work. I got to buy this thing. So I said, okay, put it up. And how they do it there is they go get it from the warehouse. They bring it to the register. Then you have to wait in line at the register and pay for it. So I'm standing in line at the register and I hear the lady that sold me the Mac come running up to the register and saying, oh my God, Apple just raised prices in our system too and canceled all of our sales. But that guy right there, we have to honor his price. And I'm like, hey, that's me. I'm excited. So I get up to the register. They give me my MacBook and they say, we don't know how to do this because it's now, and I'm not joking here, $950 more than you agreed to. So instead of $2,300, it's $3,300 in between saying I'm going to buy that, like literally while I was standing in the register. And that's a lot, even for a business to spend. And so luckily they did honor the price. I did get the thing, but I'm literally the last person to get the old pricing. And it occurs to me, holy cow, Apple just raised the prices by $500, which is a huge amount because of RAM and SSD costs. And of course, we know why that was. Apple raised the prices because RAM and SSD costs are incredibly high. They released a statement where they spelled it out. They said, look, we just can't afford to subsidize these things anymore. Now, AOC and Bernie Sanders say that's nonsense, but it's true that eventually the demand for, chips, for RAM, for flash is, it reaches a point where people can't afford to continue to subsidize these things. And suddenly, we have just unsustainable prices. I'm going to say that I would not have spent $3,300 on this MacBook. Corey and I were just talking, his needs service. And if we had to buy a new one, that would be more like a $6,000 laptop. Well, that's just not possible. And I think that this is what's happening now with AI is that the bill is coming home finally. The cost of this thing is finally coming down to consumers, whether it's the cost of a new MacBook or a new iPad or the cost of your next phone or the cost of your next car or television, or maybe it's just the cost of tokens, the cost of applications, the cost of energy. There's so many ways in which AI is, basically has been subsidized and is no longer going to be subsidized.